This episode is sponsored in part by Ward Law Firm, with offices in Munford and Somerville, Tennessee. Ward Law Firm offers a full spectrum of legal services including individuals, businesses, and entertainment law. Ward Law Firm is raising the bar with high-quality, efficient, and effective legal services. Call today or visit wardlawfirm.org. Also sponsored by Atoka Fitness Center. Atoka Fitness Center is a 24-hour access, state-of-the-art facility that offers tanning, classes, childcare, and more. Free weights, cardio machines, strength machines, co-ed, and women's-only areas are just a few of the amenities offered for one low monthly price. Visit atokafitnesscenter.com for more information or call 901-840-4900.
From beautiful Memphis, Tennessee, join us for Get the Part. Whether you are an actor auditioning for your first play or an actress being cast for a major motion picture, stay tuned where we will help you get the part. And now, your host, Jeff Yarbrough.
Welcome to another edition of Get the Part. Today our special guest is Miss Lisa Lax. Lisa Lax has spent 20 years working as an actress, manager, and casting director. She has labored mostly below the radar in Memphis, but when she opened her own talent agency, the Lisa Lax Agency, in January of 2008, it created a buzz. She has a knack for discovering untapped talent, nurturing it, and delivering it to the right door, says the actor Chris Ellis of Hollywood. In September of 2011, Lax opened a second office in New York City. The expansion came as a result of Lax's longtime development of relationships with national casting agents, producers, and directors. Lisa is most noted for jump-starting the career of Memphis actress Lucy Hale of Pretty Little Liars. A legit agency in New York City, she represents actors for film and television in Memphis. She provides a full-service agency. Already her clients are working on many projects including The Americans, Blue Bloods, Nashville, Boardwalk Empire, The Blacklist, Blue Cross Blue Shield, and many, many others. Lisa, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Well, that's a very impressive list of stuff that you've been involved in. Tell us just a little bit more about where you've been here, besides what's on the list.
Yeah, well, I started here in Memphis 7 years ago, and it was a wonderful experience here. We were doing basically local commercials, industrials. That's really the bulk of the work in Memphis. So after about, 4 years in, I was working with two young talents in New York that couldn't get an agent there. And I started to submit them from here, just right from my computer, phone, and they started to go in on auditions. And I thought if I can get them work sitting in my office in Memphis, Tennessee, on the computer in New York, why not make this official, make it legit, and open up an office in New York? So that's what I did.
That's great. That's great. Yeah. Always looks good to have offices in different cities.
It's nice.
So do you travel to New York quite a bit?
I do. So I go about every 3 months, and just so I can make contact and keep the networking going, and meet new talent.
That's great. Mm-hmm. What do you think about the talent as comparing Memphis people with New York people? How do actors differ? Is there any difference?
There is. They're completely different markets. So in Memphis, like I said, it's more commercial, and I think the talent here, they're not going in on auditions every single day or even every week, so they don't have the same training and skill and education that the actors in New York have. It's not that they can't get it, they can train here, but I don't think the same experience for them when you're going in all the time and you're actually in the audition room with casting directors. So it's quite different in that they're, better prepared with the actual, set skill and audition skill.
Mm. Well, one thing we've got on them, they don't know how to say y'all.
You got that right.
That's right. That's right. Well, let's go to a question now.
What is the difference between a manager and an agent?
Big difference. Well, an agent really looks for the job. So they're looking for the auditions and, you know, how to acquire more work for the talent. So they're really a job hunter for the actor, whereas a manager is really managing a career. They're giving the actor advice on how to look, how to dress, what role to take, what, you know, how to go in and be prepared. So it's more, manager is more of a hands-on approach.
I guess it's pretty expensive for an actor or an actress to have their own manager. Is there a whole lot of that happening in Memphis? Is there, are there very many actors that are like that here?
No, there really isn't. I think you really always tell actors, because they ask me a lot in New York about this, when do I need a manager, or do you think I need a manager, or do you mind working with a manager? I get these questions a lot. And I think an actor really doesn't need a manager until they have something to manage.
That makes sense.
Right? Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
A career.
A career.
What is one of the biggest misconceptions in the acting business?
I think that it's easy, that, you know, I hear this a lot. I can do that. It looks easy. I can, you know, and that's a good attitude to have, but that it's easy is definitely not true, and that it's glamorous. I think it's just like any profession. You have to work hard. You have to train. You have to get the education. It's not easy on a set. There's so much to remember, and hitting your mark, and is this a 30-minute sitcom or an hour drama? You know, what am I actually, you know, doing here? What kind of energy do I have? What do I want to bring to the table? So there's so much into it, and then you know, the hours are very long. Yeah. And that can be tough to just be, you know, your very best all the time and look your very best when you've worked 12 hours, and then the next day you got to go in and work another 12.
So it's days possibly of working 12, 14 hours, and then a week or two of not doing anything sometimes, perhaps.
That's true. I mean, sometimes it depends on what you're doing. You know, if you're on an episodic, then you're usually about 9 months in and 3 on hiatus. If you're doing a commercial, obviously, you know, you're shooting for a couple of days, and then you're looking for the next commercial, the next job.
So what's your favorite thing to book as far as acting or modeling? Do you have a lot of
I'm really more of an actor's agent now, so that's my focus. I've really sort of dropped off the modeling because there's not that much here, so my focus is more toward the serious actor, and then in New York we're film and TV only.
Do you see any future, as far as future growth in the Memphis area for film, television, stuff like that?
I do. I think, you know, the indie film industry here is big in Memphis, and I think, you know, that's wonderful how everyone's decided, I'm just going to do my own project if, you know.
That's what it takes.
Yeah,
that's why
exactly.
We're here.
To dive in, and people like Rich Newman who are doing their own, you know, local films, indie films, reaching out into the other areas as well. So I do think the independent film group here is very strong.
That's good.
What does an agent really do?
It's a good question, because I think sometimes a lot of people expect us to do a lot of different jobs. So, you know, as I said earlier, it's really more focused on finding the audition, but there's a lot that goes into it today, because people are going on tape for films that are out of town, or they're going on tape for, you know, even local productions. So now we're, you know, actually watching those tapes, loading that film, getting them into casting. You know, we're sometimes holding the actor's hand, you know, through a process, through, you know, a callback, through a director callback, advising them, giving them, you know, notes about their audition. You know, actually when someone books a job, you know, there's a lot of paperwork that goes into it.
So y'all don't play golf like 5 days a week and just work for a couple hours every day or something like that?
I would love to.
That doesn't happen, huh?
I've been saying for 7 years to my husband, I want to go to Belize. I want to go to, he's so tired of hearing me say, I want to go to Belize.
Maybe one of these days you can get that trip to Belize.
Definitely.
Well, tell us a little bit, do you have any other words of advice for somebody that's watching the show and saying, what can I do to up my game? What can I do to sharpen my image a little bit and so that I can stand out?
Yeah, I do. I think, I just think you can never be too prepared. You know, I think that people, they don't spend enough time researching who the director is, researching who the casting director is, what kind of work have they done. Watching the show that you're auditioning for is so important. Same thing with commercials. If you're doing a Blue Cross Blue Shield commercial, you should go back and look at the Blue Cross Blue Shield commercials that are airing or on YouTube, wherever you can find them online now, so that you see the style in what they're looking for. It helps so much. So, you know, educating yourself in every way possible. And then just, I think a lot of times actors just think of the audition. You have to know the business side too. It's so important to know that, you know, have your tools, have your headshot, have your resume, have the education of the business side, so you don't go in and start, you know, asking a whole lot of questions in an audition where you have like producers and directors sitting there, just so you know how to be prepared in the room as well. There's a long list.
It's a long list. One thing that I had a question about is headshots.
Yeah.
I've seen lots of sites on the internet that say, okay, you should have your headshot, and then you should have your resume stapled to it at the top on both sides. And then I've seen some sites that say you should have your resume printed on the back of your picture. And then some of them say they should be paper clipped so they can be separated. So who's right?
Right.
What's the format?
Well, I don't think there's a right or wrong. I do think there are some casting directors that are picky about those kinds of things. I'm not really. To me, it's more about what's going on in the room and that you do have a good headshot, you know, and that it looks like you, because that's the biggest problem we have. But I would say that if you have them stapled or glued where there's not, you know, things hanging off, and you need to have them sized to the same size as the headshot. So I would say that would be the, you know, best way to put your headshot and resume together.
So it's not a real good thing to go to glamour shots and let them fix you all up and spend 3 or 4 hours in makeup and take a shot and put that as a headshot. Huh?
It's not.
Not a good idea.
I think a lot of times we think it's, you know, again, big and glamorous, but it usually is more, you know, natural and simple and very real is how you want your headshot to look like you when you walk in the room.
Tell us a little bit about what the future holds for you, for Lisa Lax Agency.
Oh boy, it's a big question. I think I'm in Nashville now some, so I'm acquiring some talent there. So that feels like a small branch. I don't want to make it too big. So really my focus is more of kind of small boutique size agencies, narrowing down in the other 2 markets and making them small so I'm more hands-on and I know my talent really well. So probably the 3 offices for me, that's a big step, having 3. And I'm looking forward to having a series regular so I can go to Belize and take a vacation.
Tell us something funny that has happened. So something funny that has happened to you or somebody around you. I always like to laugh at other people.
I do have some funny stories.
I love to learn from other people's mistakes. I also love to laugh at other people's mistakes when I have a chance. So what do you have for us?
Well, I feel bad talking about this actually, but it is funny. I was on a project casting at the time before I was an agent, and one of the actors that came as an extra wanted to know where his trailer with his name was on the set.
An extra.
An extra, and I mean, he really did want to know this, and so I had to explain to him that there was no trailer for him with his name, that, you know, he was an extra. I didn't want to be rude about it, you know, but he had stars in his eyes. He was so excited about being there. He really thought that he was going to have a trailer. So I explained to him that he didn't have a trailer, that's only for the leads, but he felt like because he had worked 3 or 4 jobs before that they would have one at this point for him. And then he also felt like wardrobe and makeup should be taking care of him. So that was like, you know, it was very challenging for me because he really had the belief that he was going to be in a trailer on the set. So if you are an extra, or if you're just starting, you won't get a trailer yet, but it is something you can build up to and look forward to.
That's right, that's right. Well, do you have anything else for us before you go? We know you've got a busy schedule in Nashville and all these other projects going, so have any parting words for us?
I would just say good luck with the show.
Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations, and I hope I see you again.
All right, thank you, Ms.
Okay.
Lisa Lax, for being with us.
Thank you.
And that wraps up another episode of Get the Part.